Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama
to the Bhakti Vrksa today on Saturday at the home of Suyash and Manasi. Manasiji is here. Thank you so much for opening your home and your hearts to us. I'd also like to welcome Srila Prabhupada's disciple, Banwali Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining. You came and the light came into the room. We were kind of feeling lifeless without you, so I'm so glad that you could make it come. We know you had a very complicated day.
It wasn't that complicated,
Right. So
I'm so glad to be here.
That's your humility speaking. So we'll just go with the more introductions here, starting with you.
I'm Khyati from Milbre. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, this is Neeral from Milbre, and we are glad to be here. Hare Krishna, this is Suyash from Pacifica.
Hare Krishna, this is Mansi from Pacifica.
And behind the cameras, not visible to you, is my husband, Rakesh Rajput.
Okay, that's right.
We have to bring him out of the hiding. Okay, so we'll continue our reading. And before we do that, we'll just do a prayer to the spiritual master. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, who would like to do a recall of what we did last week when we met at the home of...
What kind of people who surrender to Krishna?
Very good. That was the topic.
It's easy to get back to that.
Get back to that? Okay, good. You did that.
Probably you did the homework.
Oh, good. Yes, you did indeed. So, and what were the 4 types?
One was inquisitive, anxious,
Distressed.
The seeker of material opulence.
Yes,
Material benefits.
benefits. They are.
And other than the one with knowledge.
And the ones with the knowledge. Yeah, knowledge. Right? Chaturveda bhajante mam, jana sukritino arjuna, artho jigyasu, artharthi, jnanija, bharat rishabha. So who is Bharat Rishabha?
Sanskrit mein bola. I'm not that good in Sanskrit.
Yeah, it's Arjun in Sanskrit, right? It's Arjun in English. Bharat Rishabha is the name of Arjun.
Okay.
Best among men. Man. Rishabha, right? Best among men.
That's why Prabhupada is so important. I mean, he's...
Yeah, yes.
You know, Sanskrit would be
I'm
lost,
so
right?
grateful to Prabhupada
So
that
grateful.
otherwise, yeah, I could have never learned it, And then you also put it in such nice English also, right? It's more readable. Because I got the Bhagavatam, so when I started coming to Krishna consciousness, I didn't know much about Vedas.com, Krishna.com, things like that. I just came across the Bhagavad Gita. And I used to, I had the desire to learn Bhagavatam. I think some from previous jans that thing had done. I didn't know what Bhagavatam was, but I wanted to read Bhagavatam. And so I went and purchased the Bhagavatam from some other organization. And it was one volume. That's it. The whole Bhagavatam. Complete English. Yes, this is translation. Complete English. I heard that is completely English.
That was my concept of
Concept of Bhagavatam, yeah.
So when that is known as Bhagavatam,
Yeah, it was confused. So, and then the English there was thou art and thine and things like that. So it was very funny things like yeah. And then I read Prabhupada's thing and it was so much more easy. It was so much more, readable according to the thing. Okay. Maybe you can go there. DTs might be difficult to get there. Yeah, I think it's okay. Alright, so should we get started on reading?
Sure.
4 kinds of people. Should we? Banwali Prabhu, will you do us the honors?
Would you like me to start?
Yes.
Would you like me to read the Sanskrit?
If you like to. Yes, please.
I cannot.
Yes, I can do the Sanskrit.
Maybe you'd like to start and then I'll...
Yeah, let me do the Sanskrit and the translation, and then we can find the proper amongst us. Let's just do that. Namam, and then maybe you can repeat after me. How about that? Namam duskriti no muraha. Namam duskriti no muraha. Prapadyante naradhamaha.
Prapadyante naradhamaha.
Mayaya pahrita jnana.
Maya priyata jnana.
Mayaya pahrita jnana.
Maya priyata jnana.
Asuram bhavamashritah.
Asuram bhavamashritah.
Namam duskriti-no muraha.
Namam duskrito mudaha.
Prapadyante naradhamaha.
Prapadyante naradhamaha.
Mayaya pahrita jnana.
Maya priyata jnana.
Asuram bhavamashritah.
Asuram bhavamashritah.
Namam duskriti-no muraha.
Namam duskrito mudaha.
Prapadyante naradhamaha.
Prapadyante naradhamaha.
Mayaya pahrita jnana.
Maya priyata jnana.
Asuram bhavamashritah.
Asuram bhavamashritah.
Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada.
It is said in Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering oneself unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality, Krishna, one can surmount the stringent laws of material nature. At this point, a question arises. How is it that educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the all-powerful personality of Godhead? Mukti, or liberation from the laws of material nature, is sought by the leaders of mankind in different ways and with great plans and perseverance for a great many years and births. But if that liberation is possible by simply surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hard-working leaders adopt this simple method?
The Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of the society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapil, the Kumaras, Manu, Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Janak, Prahlad, Bali, and later on Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya, and many others, who are faithful philosophers, politicians, educators, scientists, etc., surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Person, the all-powerful authority. Those who are not actually philosophers, scientists, educators, administrators, etc., but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan or path of the Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plan and consequently complicate the problems of the material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plan of atheists and baffle the knowledge of planning commissions.
The atheistic plan makers are described herein by the word duskrita kritnaha or miscreants. Kriti means one who has performed meritorious work. The atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. But because the atheist's brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called duskriti, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected.
In the Gita, it is clearly mentioned that material energy works fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It has no independent authority. It works as the shadow moves in accordance with the movements of the object. But still, material energy is very powerful, and the atheists, due to their godless temperament, cannot know how it works, nor can he know the plan of the Supreme Lord. Under illusion and the modes of passion and ignorance, all these plans are baffled, as in the case of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, whose plans were smashed to dust, although they were both materially learned as scientists, philosophers, administrators, and educators. These Dushkritinas or miscreants are of 4 different patterns, as outlined below.
The Mudars are those who are grossly foolish, like hard-working beasts of burden. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor by themselves, and so do not want to be part with them for the Supreme. The typical example of the beast of burden is the ass. The humble beast is made to work very hard by his master. The ass does not really know for whom he works so hard day and night. He remains satisfied by filling his stomach with a bundle of grass, sleeping for a while under fear of being beaten by his master, and satisfying his sex appetite at the risk of being repeatedly kicked by the opposite party. The ass sings poetry and philosophy sometimes, but this braying sound only disturbs others. This is the position of the foolish fruitative worker who does not know for whom he should work. He does not know the karma action is meant by for yajna, sacrifice.
I just got a comment that they are not able to hear properly. So maybe when you all are reading. Most often, those who work very hard day and night to clear the burden of self-created duties say that they have no time to hear of the immortality of the living being. To such mudas, material gains which are destructible are lives all in all. Despite the fact that the mudas enjoy only a very small fraction of the fruit of labor, despite the fact that mudas enjoy only a very small fraction of the fruit of labor, sometimes they spend sleepless nights and days and nights for fruitive gain, and although they may have ulcers or indigestion, they are satisfied with practically no food. They are simply absorbed in working hard day and night for the benefit of illusory masters. Ignorant of their real master, the foolish workers waste their valuable time serving mammon. Unfortunately, they never surrender to the supreme master of all masters, nor do they take time to hear of him from the proper sources. The swine who eat the night soil do not care to accept sweetmeats made of sugar and ghee. Similarly, the foolish worker will untiringly continue to hear of the sense-enjoyable tidings of the flickering mundane world, but will have very little time to hear about the eternal living force that moves the material world.
2. Another class of Tuskriti, or miscreant, is called the Naradama, or the lowest of mankind. Nara means human being, and Adama means the lowest. Out of the 8,400,000 different species of living beings, there are 400,000 human species. Out of these, there are numerous lower forms of human life that are mostly uncivilized. The civilized human beings are those who have regulative principles of social, political, and religious life. Those who are socially and politically developed but who have no religious principles must be considered Naradamas. Nor is religion without God religion, because the purpose of following religious principles is to know the supreme truth and man's relation with him. In the Gita, the personality of Godhead clearly states that there is no authority above him, and that he is the supreme truth. The civilized form of human life is meant for man's reviving the lost consciousness of his eternal relation with the Supreme Truth, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is all-powerful. Whoever loses this chance is classified as a Naradama. We get information from revealed scriptures that when the baby is in the mother's womb, an extremely uncomfortable situation, he prays to God for deliverance and promises to worship him alone as soon as he gets out. To pray to God when he is in difficulty is a natural instinct in every living being, because he is eternally related with God. But after his deliverance, the child forgets the difficulties of birth and forgets his deliverer also, being influenced by Maya, the illusory energy.
It is the duty of the guardian of children to revive the divine consciousness dormant in them. Then 10 processes of reformatory ceremonies as enjoined in the Manusmriti, which is the guide to religious principles, are meant for reviving God consciousness in the system of Varnashrama. However, no process is strictly followed now in any part of the world, and therefore 99.9% of population is Narada.
When the whole population becomes Naradama, naturally all their so-called education is made null and void by the all-powerful energy of physical nature. According to the standard of the Gita, a learned man is he who sees in equal terms the learned Brahmana, the dog, the cow, the elephant, and the dog-eater. That is the vision of a true devotee. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is the incarnation of the Godhead as Divine Master, delivered the typical Naradamas, the brothers Jagai and Madhai, and showed how the mercy of a real devotee is bestowed upon the lowest of mankind. So the Naradama, who is condemned by the personality of Godhead, can again revive his spiritual consciousness only by the mercy of a devotee.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in propagating the Bhagavad Dharma or activities of the devotees, has recommended that people submissively hear the message of the personality of Godhead. The essence of this message is Bhagavad Gita. The lowest among human beings can be delivered by this submissive hearing process only. But unfortunately, they even refuse to give an oral reception to these messages, and what to speak of surrendering to the will of Supreme Lord. Naradamas, or the lowest of mankind, will fully neglect the prime duty of the human being.
Third, the next class of Dushkriti is called Maya Prataha Jnana, or those persons whose erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusionary material energy. They are mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poets, literati, scientists, etc. But the illusory energy misguides them, and therefore they disobey the Supreme Lord.
There are a great number of Maya Paharita Jnana at the present moment, even among the scholars of the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, in plain and simple language, it is stated that Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is none equal to or greater than him. He is mentioned as the father of Brahma, the original father of all human beings. In fact, Sri Krishna is said to be not only the father of Brahma, but also the father of all species of life. He is the root of the impersonal Brahman and Paramatma, the supersoul in every entity in this binary portion. He is the fountainhead of everything, and everyone is advised to surrender unto his lotus feet. Despite all these clear statements, the Mahaprartha Jnana deride the personality of Supreme Lord and consider him merely another human being. They do not know that the blessed form of human life is designed after the eternal and transcendental feature of the Supreme Lord.
All the unauthorized interpretations of the Gita by the class of Maya Prartha outside the purview of the Parampara system are so many stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual understanding that deluded interpreters do not surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, nor do they teach others to follow this principle.
4. The last class of Dushkriti is called Asuratma Bhavam Ashrita, or those of dominant principles. This class is openly atheistic. Some of them argue that the Supreme Lord can never descend upon this material world, but they are unable to give any tangible reason as to why not. There are others who make him subordinate to the impersonal feature, although the opposite is declared in Gita. Envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the atheist will present a number of illicit incarnations manufactured in the factory of his brain. Such person whose very principle of life is decry the personality of Godhead and cannot surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna.
Sri Yamunacharya Albandaru of South India said, "O my Lord, you are unknowable to persons involved with atheistic principles, despite your uncommon qualities, features and activities. Despite your personalities being confirmed by all the revealed scriptures in the quality of goodness, and despite your being acknowledged by the famous authorities renowned for their depth of knowledge in the transcendental science and situated in the godly qualities."
Therefore, first, grossly foolish persons. Second, the lowest of mankind, the deluded speculators, and the professed atheists, as above mentioned, never surrender unto the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead in spite of all scriptural and authoritative advice.
Hari Bol.
Hari.
Better say Hari Bol after listening to these 4 categories.
Hari Bol.
Yeah, it's a relief that we had about in the Bhagavad Gita is 7. In fact, this is from the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? Verse number 15. And the good people were mentioned in verse number 16. So Krishna first talks about the bad, and then talks about the good. But I'm glad that in this flow of this book they have put it in the other order. So this is a purport straight from Bhagavad Gita, obviously written by Srila Prabhupada. So as usual, it is very heavy. Right? I'm just looking at his choice of words, very measured and very appropriate, nothing more, nothing less. And in a very concise form, he has said so many things, and he has quoted so many verses from various scriptures without actually quoting them like that. So we could even have a little game and try to discover where the hidden verses are here, right?
5.3, 5.5.
There you go.
What is that? विद्या विनय संपन्ने ब्राह्मणी गई हस्तिनी सुनिचय स्वातिश पंडितस्य समदर्शन 5.18.
So it is said in Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering oneself unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can surmount the stringent laws of material nature. So the laws of material nature are very stringent. So why is it said that the laws are very stringent?
It follows I guess they have given an example of shadow. Like shadow would actually follow whatsoever wherever the object is moving. So it is bound to happen like that. I guess that is not cannot be manipulated.
Cannot be changed at all, right? You can't change what the shadow is doing. Okay. Okay. And what other way do we think the laws of material nature are stringent? Okay, let's look at the man-made laws. How are they not stringent? How can they be made into a non-stringent law?
If a death penalty is given, president can give pardon, clemency, pardon them. So
they can pardon them, right? Or you don't even have to go to the president for some of the crimes. You can bribe the judge, and you can do those kind of things and get away, so to speak, right? You can get away from the penalty of that, right? And they are also very stringent in the sense that they will not also go by the stature of a person. Right? Whether you're rich or poor, if you have to get cancer, you'll get cancer, right? Like that. So they are very, very, and it's a tit for tat. So even if you go unscathed from the material perspective, but the laws of material nature as such are there to still catch you. And what I mean by that if you commit a crime and you're not caught by that, but it's still being registered against you, and you will have to suffer it in this life or some other life like that. So that's why they are very, very stringent, and they go across lives. Here, if a person commits murder and then he's hanged and that's it, finished, right? We don't talk about anything about his next life, but the laws of material nature will extend, over lives and various kinds of species that you might be born into, right?
Here the laws are also different in different countries and different states.
Very good.
A person goes to a different country to get away from law.
Away from law, yeah. You commit a murder here and go and hide somewhere there. Yes, very good point. Very good point, right? So the laws of material nature are very stringent, and but if you surrender to the lotus feet of God, Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna, so the clemency that the president of a country can offer can also be offered to you by Krishna.
Mataji, can you speak what is the meaning of surrender and how should we surrender?
How should we surrender?
So what should be our intellectual?
Yeah. So before I go there, my question is there a verse of Bhagavad Gita that comes to your mind that talks about simply by surrendering oneself under the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Krishna?
9 point it's a very famous verse.
Devi
Shuguna Ishu. I can't recollect it.
Please. My Devi Esha Gurumai, Mama Maya Dhurabhyaya. Mam Eva Yepapadyante, Mayam Etam Tarantite. So Devi Esha Gurumai. So this Maya is Devi. So we have to understand that Maya is not material. Maya is not material, although she controls the material world. And she is actually a devotee of the Lord. She has this thankless job of, those who are not surrendered, and I'll come back to surrendered. Those who are not surrendered, then, she will torture them through the three prong, right? So we see Maya. Durga is the representation of Maya. So we want to see Durga holding a trident in her hand, the shoe. So what do those three things represent? Those three things represent the kinds of distress that we get. The first kind of distress is
Adipautic, and
Very good. So, and can you elaborate a little bit more on what each one of them is?
Adipautic means from external, like from environment.
Demigods.
Yeah, Adipautic is material inconvenience, and Adhyatmic is spiritual. Sometimes we cannot connect to Krishna, so something that comes from our own karma.
Your own karma, right? So we start with Adhyatmic because most of the mysteries are caused by us. Yes. So Adhyatmic, and the Adhyatmic mysteries will be, you do something like gross, like if you eat a lot of, ice cream, then you might have some diseases later on. Or if you eat too much today, then you might have an upset stomach tomorrow. Like that. So that is, you're suffering a distress, the stomach ache, there's acidity, heartburn, acid burn, like that. So, and then you will, suffer from that. Then the second one is Adibhautik. So Adibhautik is coming from the external environment, as you pointed out. So those could be, others are doing it to you, right? Like a mosquito comes and bites you, or a dog barks at you, or somebody insults you, and so on and so forth. So that is Adibhautik, and Adidevik is those that are done by the demigods. So if you disobey the laws of God, then the demigods are there as his managers, and then they will punish you in the form of earthquakes, tornadoes, and things like that, right? So, but he's saying, Mamevaye prapadyante. Mamevaye prapadyante is that those prapadyante means surrender, but those who surrender unto me, right? Today's verse also says, Na mam duskrito muda prapadyante. Na mam, to me, the duskrito and the mudas, the miscreants, one of them is muda. What do they not do? Na prapadyante naradama. They do not surrender unto me, right? So, but if you surrender to the lotus feet of Supreme Personality, you can mayam etam tarantite. So just as if Maya is like an ocean and you go tar, you cross it and you go on. So this way, if you surrender to Krishna, then you can hang on to his lotus feet and you'll be able to cross the material ocean. So now comes the question that what is surrender? So in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Sarv dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami namasuja. So it is our sinful reactions are what cause our distress to us, right? So a sinful reaction could be simple as hogging too much, eating too much, you're just trying to enjoy the material energy and it doesn't belong to you, so leave like that. So so he's saying that all these distress that you get, which are actually coming from your sinful reactions, then all this will go away. All that you have to do is abandon all aspects of all measures of religiosity that you do, religious thing. Let me keep this little breath, or let me give an donation there. This this Levite, I'll Levite this, I'll Levite this. Let me put certain things in certain part of the room, and all those kind of things that I'm doing. He said, just abandon all that. Just surrender unto me. Unto Krishna is what he's saying, right? And then in the purport for that, which is Bhagavad Gita 18.66, and let us just read 18.66 since you brought it up. Now, do you have Bhagavad Gita sufficient here?
You can send it on the phone also, right?
Yeah, I can send the 18.66.
18 what now?
66. 18th chapter. I can take it out.
Take it out.
Got
Do you want me to read? Or she's
Yeah, she.
It's very late.
Yeah, you got it? I will just for the online viewers, I'm just going to send. I'm just going to send it. I'm just going to put it on our Bhakti Vrksa group also, so that those who are reading will know that. Okay. 18.66, and I just want to. So 18.66 is something that I just said right now, and but we are going to go into the purport. And in the purport, somewhere, into the third paragraph of the purport has the answer to your question, Kyati Mataji. The process of surrender to Krishna is described in Hari Bhakti Vilas. So you will surrender to Krishna actually means that you're saying, Krishna, I belong to you. When you're saying, Krishna, I belong to you. So if something belongs to you, then you can do anything that you like with that, right? So when you come to that mood of a devotional service where you're saying, Krishna, I belong to you, then you're saying, Krishna, you can do anything to me. Like that, right? And in the Shastakam prayers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about that. And towards the end, he says, whatever you want to do, you want to break my heart, you want to talk to me, not talk to me, I am. And so the gopis are in that mood, right? So Krishna will disappear, Krishna will talk to them, not talk to them, they don't care. They are just constantly devoted to Krishna because they are surrendered unto Krishna, because they think that we belong to Krishna. Right? Most of the times what happens in our lives is that it is other way around.
Yes.
Right? My husband belongs to me, my child also belongs to me, like that. So everybody belongs to me, and then I want to do whatever I want to do with them. But in surrender is coming from that I belong to Krishna. So if you belong to Krishna, let him do whatever he wants to do. But then there are some other aspects also. So it is described in Hari Bhakti Vilas. You got it there? Got that part?
Yeah.
To the little bit? You got it?
Yes.
Anukulasya sankalpa.
Anukulasya sankalpa.
Pratikulasya varjanam.
Pratikulasya varjanam.
Rakshishyatiti vishvaso.
Rakshishyatiti vishvaso.
Goptritve varanam tatha.
Goptritve varanam tatha.
Atmanikshepa karpanye.
Atmanikshepa karpanye.
Shadvida sharanagati.
Sadvida sharanagati.
Okay, Kyati Mataji, why don't you read the paragraph after that?
According to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principle that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in the social order, but if by executing his duty one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all his activities are in vain.
Okay, so you just stop over here and elaborate on that a little bit more, right? So he's saying that according to this process, right, by which you doing surrender to Krishna, you should simply accept those things that will ultimately lead you to Krishna service. So anukul, yes sir, right? Sankalpa, anukul, favorable. So you will do only things which are favorable towards Krishna. Right? And then, so sometimes you see that other methods of thinking will say, oh, Thomas was a very good man, right? He takes very good, he works very hard and for his family, he takes good care of the family, he makes sure that the food is on the table. Right? So he's doing his duty, he's a husband, he's got to take care of his family. So everything is good. But here we are saying that everything is not good. Because he's doing his duty, whatever his occupational duties are there. But, occupational duties, whatever you're doing according to this Vedic philosophy, should lead you to liking Krishna. Should lead to a connection to Krishna. Right? So, Dharma Swan, in the Bhagavatam it says, Dharma Swanishtitha Pumsan, Viksha Sena Kathasu Yat, Notpade Rati Shama Eva Hi Kevalam. So he says that if you're situated in whatever ashram or whatever stage of life you are, and if you're performing your duty, but if that duty is not leading you to liking Krishna, notpadate, na utpadate. Utpadate means producing, utpadan. So if it does not lead to, notpadate, what? Krishna. Yeah, you're rati for Krishna, right? Rati for Krishna, attraction for Krishna. Then Shama Eva Hi Kevalam. Then it is just useless labor. And that is really sad because if you spend your whole life just taking care of the family. So this means that somewhere I was not taught what exactly my duty is. Right? Because I thought, well, you said you're a good man, you have work, take care of the family, you're a good man, right? Most of the people unfortunately think that, right? But as a parent, actually your duty is to make sure that your children become God conscious. Your children should become Krishna conscious. Right? And then when you go and do that, that is the real shram. And in order to do that, that is shram. If you're driving, 25 miles every day to make sure that your child learns piano classes so that he can play the jazz at some, community concert, then Shama Eva Hi Kevalam. But you're driving 15 miles to take him to learn Mridangam so that he can play at the program, for Krishna Katha. Then that is real labor that you've done. Otherwise, all this is useless labor. Just, you're mudha.
Or even helping someone selflessly, like not from family, but because someone is a devotee of Krishna or something. That's also
enabling a devotee.
Yes, enabling a devotee. Yes. So I was saying that if you're a parent, then your duty is that.
Right.
Yes, yeah. And then actually, one of the verses from the Bhagavatam says, I don't remember, he says that you have no right to become a father or a mother or a guru or a king or a teacher, right? If you cannot deliver them, if you cannot bring them to Krishna consciousness, you cannot deliver them, then it is useless thing that you're doing. Because, giving birth to children is something that the animals can also do. Right? But not all animals teach Krishna consciousness to the children. Right? So here, you see, you should simply accept such principles that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupation duty according to his position in the social order, but if by executing his duty, one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. Only Shrama. All his activities are in vain, just useless.
So that means even if we are working on a profession front, that should lead us towards Krishna.
Exactly. That will lead you to Krishna. So then you have to just go and see that what am I doing? Right? For example, if a person says that I want to become a doctor, and he just came today, right? From a doctor's home. And so if a doctor goes to study so that he can help people, and well, that's fine, he will do that. But then he also studies so that he can cure the devotees. So you see there's a shift there. Now the element of Krishna has come into the picture. Otherwise you can just become a doctor just to earn money. Doctors earn good money. Right? But the Krishna is missing from there. So the Krishna factor has to be brought in somehow or the other. Okay? So again, it always goes back to the intention. What you are doing, Krishna will look at the intention. And here's the beauty of it. Like, that in some places, if you find that a person is involved in an accident and you go there and you try to help them, and in that process of helping them, you actually hinder because you don't know the nature and the extent of the injuries. At that point, the patient should not have been moved, and you just thought, let me move him out of the car and lay him flat, somewhere like that. And in that process, you caused him more damage. Then you are liable to be punished for that. But in the kingdom of Krishna, from Krishna's perspective, from the laws of material nature, you won't be punished because you're seeing the intention. So that's the difference between the material and the spiritual. So, so if a person is studying to become a doctor to be able to help the devotees and or ease the pain or maybe use his position as a doctor, because people listen to the doctors, right? And they get attached also to the family doctors, and if the family doctor can also use that position to bring in some spiritualism, right? Because when you are in pain, you are a little more likely to hear about Krishna, right? Because
that's what you're saying here, right?
Yeah.
Whenever any distressed person is more likely to the baby in the womb is
yes, yeah, and that is why. And if you read Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd Canto 31st chapter, it has a very gory description of what the child goes through when it is in the womb. Very gory. It starts from the night that the child is conceived, all the way till he delivers, and even a few days after that, how does he feel? It's all very, very described graphically there. So. Yeah, so Kathy, read the next sentence also. And anything that does not.
I think I lost that.
Oh, you lost.
Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided.
Right, and that is pratikulyasya varjanam. So it is not only that you will do positive things, right? I'm doing this. Okay, this is favorable to Krishna, but also unfavorable things have to be avoided. Right? Unfavorable thing. For example, if I'm saying I'm chanting, but I'm doing the 10 offenses to the holy names, right? No, when you're chanting, you will chant, plus also at the same time, you'll make sure you're not doing this, you're not doing this, you're not doing this. For example, what is the very first offense that you can do towards the holy name?
Attention.
You can blaspheme the devotees that have dedicated their lives towards propagating Krishna consciousness, right? So if you blaspheme the devotees, then it is not conducive to Krishna consciousness because they are devotees of the Lord. They are the Lord's favorites. Krishna likes them. And if you go about blaspheming this, he's not going to be happy. So this is not something which is favorable to Krishna consciousness. So you have to avoid those kind of things also. So anikulyasya sankalpa. So if you are able to, these are the steps to surrendering, Khyati Mataji, right? So one is that I'm going to do things which are favorable to Krishna. Oh, in that process itself, there will be so much of surrender that will be involved because it says, okay, then you should get up in the morning. So you surrender your sweet sleep in the morning, right? And then you say, okay, like that. You study and you sit down to study, and the mind wants to go here, mind wants to go there, but you bring it back here. Right? So. And then pratikulyasya varjanam, that is even more, adding more items to your plate. Pratikulyasya varjanam, give up the 4 regulative principles, and all 4 of them are so fantastic. Like, for example, meat eating is wonderful. I'm like, no, you can't eat meat. Oh, so now you are saying, although I like meat eating, but I'm not going to eat because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prachati, right? Just offer this, a little fruit, a water, a leaf, right? And that's all. Because what does he see? He sees your intention. But not exactly what you're offering, but the love with which you offer things to Krishna. He's looking at that. And he did not say, offer me, kebabs. He didn't say, offer me a steak. He didn't say that so that we don't offer and we don't eat, because we only eat stuff that we offer to Krishna, like that. So pratikulyasya varjanam, you also have to give up. Right? Okay, go ahead. Come.
One should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him from all difficulties.
Yeah. There is no need of thinking how. Go ahead.
There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. As soon as one seriously engages himself in devotional service to the Lord in the full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature.
So Rakshishati iti Vishwaso Goptrite Varnam Tatha Atmanivesakarpanya. So Rakshishati iti Vishwasanam, he said he has got the faith that Krishna is going to help him in all circumstances. And you see that the epitome of that is the cowherd boys with whom Krishna plays. Right? They are there. It's like the Aghasura pastime. They see Aghasura demon is lying on the road. And how big is he? He has opened his mouth and they're thinking maybe it looks like a mountain cave. And then his head is actually seems to be going and touching the sky. So it's that huge. Right? And from his mouth a bad stench of fish is coming. And they're saying like, is it a cave or is it really a demon? And then they say, yeah, should we go inside? Should we not go inside? And then they say, Krishna is going to take care of us, and they go inside. And Krishna does take care of them. And always, constantly, Krishna is taking care of him. 10th canto, constantly is taking care of the devotee. Draupadi. Prahlad Maharaj, exactly. Prahlad Maharaj, Draupadi. These are classic examples of Krishna will take care. I mean, Krishna likes a little bit of a drama. As soon as they threw Prahlad from the top of the mountain, he didn't come in a big form and then catch him. He will, at the last moment when your head is going to hit the ground and be smashed to pieces, then he'll come and catch you. Because he's also testing you throughout the fall. Do you have the faith? Do you have the faith? Do you have the faith? So, being put to the test by the Lord is a difficult thing. But if you're surrendered, then you will still happily take those tests again. Philosophically, you will understand that this is a test Krishna is taking. But because you are surrendered to Krishna, right? Tattenu kampam susamikshamaaro bhunjanamevatma kritam vipapam hridbhag vapopir vidana namaste jivetayo yukti pade sadhaya bhag. So what is it? Tatte anukampan. He says that this is your mercy. This is your mercy. And somebody, actually my god sister Varshana Mataji, sent me a very nice thing just, when I came here. And it is so relevant that I'm thinking that I should just read it out if I'm able to find it. I'm not. Okay. Anyway, what she was saying was she was defining grace and mercy of the Lord. And she says grace is that when you get things that you don't deserve. That is grace. And mercy is that when He does not give you things that will harm you. So when you don't get some things that you really wanted but were harmful for you, would have been harmful for you in the long run, then that is Krishna Anukampa. Krishna's mercy.
It's very nice.
Yeah, very nice way to look at it. And you also would think as a devotee, as you advance the devotional service, a devotee is so much in love with Krishna that even when bad things happen to him and he has so much of faith in Krishna that he will say, I actually deserve worse. Like if there's a devotee, he parks his car and goes inside to do some grocery shopping, a brand new car, and he comes back and he sees the car is scratched. Somebody pulled out his car and scratched him. A non-devotee can get very angry with that, new car and all that. But a devotee, what does a devotee do? Devotee will say, oh my goodness, I was going to be involved in a car crash today. And Krishna just did this because of that. So that is, his mood is different. So if you are in that mood, it's easy to handle this. I mean, what is the big deal about car and ahamkar? People sometimes joke and say, ahamkar is, I am my car. And so somebody scratched you. Somebody scratched me. So what's the big deal? The car is insured. The insurance guy will pick it. It's a little inconvenience. So the mood of the devotee, when you have that kind of a mood, it becomes easy to handle these kinds of reverses that come in your life. And so let's continue with where we were. Right? Rakshasati iti Vishwaso Gotratve, that He gives me everything. He is going to provide for me. Yogashema Vahamyaham. That I carry what He lacks and I carry what He lacks and I preserve what He has. And in that context, there's such a nice story about there was this Brahmana who was very poor, and he used to go and beg for things every day. And after whatever he got from the begging, he would bring back home, and then his wife would go and cook that, and that is how they would survive. And so one day he went and he didn't get anything at all. So both he and his wife had to stay hungry, so they stayed at home. And the next day the wife said, go out and, beg. So he was reading and he said, no, I won't go, then as he was reading the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, he says, oh, yoga shema mahamyaham, I carry what you lack and I preserve what you have. I don't think. I lack the food and he didn't carry the food for me. So he scratches, he had a pen and with the pen he scratches that verse, or the 2 lines of the verse like that. He's very anguished. But his wife tells him go, please bring me hungry, and so he goes there. And then lo and behold, after some time, 2 kids come to his home and they bring a nice little basket for her, which has got all kinds of groceries. And then she cooks all the groceries, and then he says, she's cooking, and she tells the 2 guys that, boys, that, hey, you wait, let me cook. Since you brought this, I'll cook and I'll give that to you. They said, no, our master, we are your husbands. Your husband is our master, and he will, if you don't go back, he asked us to, bring that basket to you, and if you don't go back, then he will beat us. So she said, what? My husband is such a gentle person. He never beats. Of course, he'll never beat the kids. He said, no, you want to know? So they pull up their shirts and they show the back. And on the back, they see their scratches like that. So she said, oh my goodness, my husband is so bad. And then I will give him a nice scolding when he comes back. And the boys then go away. And then the husband comes back home and she sees that the wife has prepared nice food, but the wife is angry. And so the husband is asking, why are you angry? And from where has all this food come? So she said, well, your students brought in. So he said, which students? I don't have any students. And that's when she said, but your students told them, and they even showed me their back. They had scratches on the back. And then he remembers that. Yoga Shema Mahamya. So sometimes whenever a devotee is there and loves Krishna to that extent, he will also have his, have a little pastime, and he will have a little, he loves adventure, he likes drama and things like that. He won't simply say it like that.
Sometimes he gives some indications to which he guides us in a certain way that he wants us to follow it. And he only happens if we have faith, and then only we can see that it's his mercy or grace that's happening.
Right. And we have to constantly, we have to practice this.
Yeah.
To constantly practice this and rearm ourselves by reading the scriptures. Constantly remind ourselves. There's one book, Bhagavad Gita, and people read it all the time. Throughout the life, there's one book that you can read and reread and reread and get more into it. Yeah. So, and then Atmnikshet Karpanya. So you don't think about everything, you completely give everything that you have. You give it to Krishna. Shadvita, Sharnagati, these are the ways in which you surrender. So it is difficult. Surrender is not easy. It is difficult, but people do it, and it will come gradually. It will come. If we
have that constant is a better, right?
Yes,
in each and every circumstances.
Yeah,
you can have it very easily when everything is favorable, and when you are with the devotees, it is possible.
Exactly.
But when you are in the testing moment at
Right.
that time,
Right. Unflinching. Unflinching. You don't have to flinch. And that is why, how will you prove that a devotee's faith to you is unflinching? You will create an atmosphere where you will flinch, where anyone can flinch. And then the devotee won't flinch. So if your faith is unflinching, that's the test that you have to go through all the time. Look at Prahlad Maharaj. Put into a snake pit, right? Given them poison, beaten, put under the feet of an elephant, right? And then thrown from a mountain, right? These are some of the few things that
I can only think of Pushta Krishna Prabhu, actually. He was so, while you're thinking of all these things, he was saying, hey, God, Krishna can do anything to my body. I'm a soul. Let him do it's his body. Let him, what is going to happen. And then
I belong to you.
I mean, that's the amazing thing, that all that we're talking about, he was really embodiment of living that thing.
Yes, I belong to you. I belong to him, and normally people do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
If they have a few days left to live. Yeah. So surrender soul. Krishna Krishna Prabhu ki
Jai.
Okay, so let's go back to our verse. It's a very heavy purport. We might even do it for 2 days.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yes. So it is said in Bhagavad Gita, simply by surrendering oneself unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality Krishna, one can surmount the stringent laws of material nature. At this point, a question arises, how is it that educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna? How come they don't do that? I mean, I have seen people coming from very pious backgrounds in India. They come here and then they become atheists.
That's association, right? With whom you associate.
I think last week we discussed about this, right? Then once we get the opulence, not the opulence, but we get all the material things and we say, okay,
It's self-created.
it's created by me or my boss gave this because I worked, I earned this, and then it's...
Well, these leaders and these bosses just have developed a consciousness where they are controlling things, so
I think
it's very easy for them to say they are God.
Until something happens.
And from scientist point of view, I have seen both the kind. Those who believe in God and those who don't. So those who really believe, they don't think themselves as a doer and creator. They are pure observer of what is existing, and they know that if there is so much of order, someone has to create. If we do an experiment, we take ownership of that. This is the biggest experiment that is created. So there has to be someone who has done this. Whereas there are scientists who say, we did it, so this must have been done by someone, but it's not God. We just call them God, but it's not true.
Yes.
So,
very true. So that is why Janma Aishwarya Shuta Shibhi Ede Mana Madhapuna Naiva Bharati Abhidhatun Vetam Akinchana Gochara. So she says that Janma Aishwarya Shuta Shibhi. So people, if you have got a high parentage, Aishwarya, you have got opulences, Shuta Shibhi, you're very well learned, and Shibhi, you got money with you. Ebe Mana Shri, you are beautiful. Ede Mana Madhapuman. If you have got this thing, then you will become intoxicated by all these things. For those kind of people, they will never be able to surrender to Krishna. To surrender to Krishna, you have to become akinchana, materially exhausted. You've got nothing. You lose everything. And then look at Prabhupada's life.
yes.
Prabhupada, when his spiritual master told him that you go to the West and you preach. So all along the time he was planning that, I will expand my business. And I'll make more money. And this is how I'll spread Krishna consciousness, right? To the whole world. You need money, right? And then what happened to his business? Completely gone. The business is gone. Youth is gone. 69, nothing happened. So to speak, right? And then the last dozen years of his life, miracle after miracle after miracle. So that was a demonstration that, when things, Krishna will take away things from you. Just so that you take to Krishna consciousness. Not in the case of Prabhupada, though, right? That was the Leela. So, but if that liberation is possible by simply surrendering unto the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hard-working leaders adopt this simple method? The Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of society like Brahma, etc., right? And they are who are faithful philosophers. So like you said right now, for the scientists, there are faithful scientists and then there are the atheist scientists. So those who are faithful philosophers, politicians, educators, scientists, etc., surrender to the lotus feet of the person, the all-powerful personality. Those are not actually philosophers, yada yada yada, but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan or path of the Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. And they simply manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. I love the language.
Yeah, that is very true, actually.
In their vain attempts to solve them. This is what is happening, right? Because material energy nature is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plans of the atheist and baffle the knowledge of planning commissions. And that's why there's a saying, right? There are no atheists in foxholes. So foxholes are the little holes that you build when you're fighting the war and you hide inside those holes. But when you get caught by the enemy, you are inside the foxhole what will you do? That's the time when you really start calling out to God.
That's the time we call God.
Yeah, God. There are no atheists.
That's a good one.
So, the atheist plan makers are described herein by the word duskritana or miscreants. The atheistic plan maker, Ravana, used to start making plans, right? Why do you have to do so much of devotional service, or not exactly pure devotional service, but at least religious services, to go to the heavenly planets? Why do you have to worship Vishnu or like that to move up in the material world? Why can I not build a staircase? And he had plans to do that. And build the plans and let's have an escalator. But what happened? He died. Like that. So we see that all the time. I mean, when they built the, what is that ship that sank? Titanic. They advertise it, this is a ship that not even God can sink.
Oops.
God is not right.
God is not that, yeah. The atheistic plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious also. Because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. It will take intelligence. Sometimes you see people commit murders. Oh, what a mastermind it is, So they're using the intelligence, but duskritana, wrong way. But because the atheist brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, so you see here is where the catch is, that they are trying to oppose the plans of the Lord. We oppose the plan of the Lord, that's why we are here. It's better to behave properly and get out of this, right? But no, they want to continue doing here. So because the brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called Dushkriti, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected. In the Gita, I mean, let's look at Oppenheimer. He created the atom bomb. The purpose for that was to kill. Right? But then he quotes from Bhagavad Gita. Mrityu haras chaham, Mrityu sarva haras chaham. In the Gita, it's clearly mentioned that material energy works fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. This is from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9. Maya adhyakshana hi prakriti suyate sacharachara. Maya adhyakshana, under my direction. It has no independent authority. So, material nature Maya is not independent of Krishna. We have to understand that part. Right? So, people are thinking that they're going to live a godless life. It works, and as you mentioned, it works as the shadow moves in accordance with the movements of the object. Right? So, yes, Prabhu, I think you had mentioned that. So then it's Shisti, Siti, Prayasadana, Shakti, Eva, Chayeva, Yasya. Right? Chaya. In Brahma Samhita is also the thing that Maya is a Chaya, shadow. It will work just according to as Krishna wants it to work. And actually, Vyasdeva, when he was meditating, right, before he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam, he sees Krishna in his meditation. He also sees Maya in his meditation. And he sees that Maya is behind him and serving him in a subordinate position like that. So he sees that also. And that's what that prompts him to write the Bhagavad Gita and inspires him to write the Bhagavatam. Otherwise, in the Vedas, he was totally dabbling with the material aspect of it, how to make your material life much better. Right? So, but still material energy is very powerful, and the atheist, due to his godless temperament, cannot know how it works, nor can he know the plan of the Supreme Lord because he doesn't believe in him. And under illusion and modes of passion and ignorance, all his plans are baffled, as is the case of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, whose plans were smashed to dust, although they were both materially learned as scientists, philosophers, etc., etc. Okay. So then Prabhupada is going to tell us the breakdown. So Buddhas are those who are grossly foolish, the hardworking beast of burden. They will work all the time, the morning, the evening, working late at work, Parishrama, Fena is coming out, and the boss is dangling the carrot, proverbial carrot in front of you, and you're doing that. That is what it is. But one has to remember that. And there's a very nice story in the Bhagavatam also about this. Not story exactly, instructions.
Script.
Yeah. it says that I know that actually story. There was a man who used to take care of his family. He cheats and he uses all kinds of scandalous methods to bring money, and the family is very happy. They enjoy all the things. But when the time comes, for him to be punished, the family, including the wife, completely abandons him and says, no, you are the one who did it. Why should we suffer because of that? So,
I mean, from what I remember, I heard was that the story of Valmiki, because he used to be a thief before, and then that's how he realized that he should change.
Yeah. So they will go into that.
Marathi we call वाल्याचा वाल्मिकी होणे.
Yeah.
From चोर to वाल्मिकी होणे.
It's that realization.
Yeah, and those kind of realizations will come to you with the help and the mercy of a devotee of the Lord. Devotee of the Lord. There's a story also of Mrigarari the hunter. And what Mrigarari the hunter used to do, okay, understood that you are in that social order of life where you are a hunter, so you will hunt the animals, right? But his father had taught him, father was very cruel, the father had taught him that not only do you hunt the animals, but you should not only do you kill the animal, but you'd actually half kill them. So that when they are half killed, then you will see them, in agony, and so he used to enjoy that agony. And so when Narad Muni meets him and he sees that he is doing that, and he finds half-killed animals like that, so he says that what are you, and it tells him that do you know that each of these animals that you're killing, what are they doing after they're dead? They're waiting for you to die and get a suitable body because now they're going to kill you. That's what opens his eyes.
How many animals are going to kill him?
Yeah. So that's why he becomes. Then he becomes a devotee of the Lord. It's just pure association with a devotee of the Lord, like Narad Muni. So, and Prabhupada says the swine who eat the night soil is stool, do not care to accept sweet meats made of sugar and ghee. Similarly, foolish workers will entirely continue to hear the sense-enjoyable tidings of the flickering mundane world. Flickering. Something flickers like that. It was only there for a short time, But will have very little time to hear about the eternal living force that moves the material world. And he actually wrote a nice essay, Chronic Disease of Mankind, No Time. And you see that all the time when you're out at book distribution, right? Do you have a minute? Nah, I'm busy. What are you busy, with? They don't know. They went from one place to another place, something like that. Then comes the class of the Skriti or miscreants who are called the Naradhama or the lowest of mankind. So Naradhama, Nar Adham. Adham means the lowest of the lowest. So Prabhupada describes the Naradhama is one who does not utilize this body for the purpose that it had been created, the human body. So the human body has been created to be able to find Krishna. And if you don't do that, but instead of that you do all kinds of nonsense, then you will continue to roam about. Brahmande Brahmite Kaun Bhagyavan. So Brahman Brahmite, he's Brahman kar raha hai. He's just moving out on an outing of what? Brahman, of this entire universe. This means like today you are in this planet, you die, you go to that planet, then you come down again, you do some more pious careers, then you go up and Shide Punne, Marte Lokam Shanti. When your pious careers are exhausted, you come down again here. So this cycle is continuing like a Ferris wheel, up and down, up and down, up and down. Upariye Ada. Go up, go down, like that. Right? That's what you're doing, but then, you are Naradhama. That he's not trying to find his sambandh gyan. Who am I and what is my relationship with Krishna? That we have to find. He's not doing that. And that's where they are also, Prabhupada also talking about the little baby. And like I said earlier, it is the duty of the guardians of children to revive the divine consciousness dormant in them. So here's the good news here, actually, right? That divine consciousness is dormant.
So it's
consciousness is already there. Isn't that wonderful? From a scientist's perspective, right? If something is already there, you just have to uncover it. Yeah. In contrast to you trying to manufacture something which you don't have. It's already there. Just find it where it is. So, Nitya Siddhya Krishna Prema, Sadhyo Kavina, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte, Gauriya Udaya. So, Nitya Siddha, that this love that you have for Krishna. Sadhyo kabhi naay. It is not something, sadhya means to make it as a goal and achieve that goal. It is not something that you can achieve. Why you can't achieve? Because it's already there in you. What are you going to achieve? If you want to become a millionaire, this means that in your bank you don't have $1 million, and now you're going to get $1 million. So you achieved $1 million, and you would become a millionaire. But being a devotee of the Lord, you're already a devotee of the Lord. The soul is already a devotee. Why? Because devotional service of the Lord is the dharma of the soul, and you can never separate the dharma from a person. So it is there, but it will go dormant if you decide and use your free will that I'm not going to do it, or for some time let me not do it, and things like that. So if you do it. So it is what he's saying here is that you just have to revive the divine consciousness, and the Naradhama will not do that. And he gives example of two people who were Naradhamas here. Naradham, we had Jagai and Madai. He quotes that example here for Naradhamas. Because he did all possible kinds of things, right? Yeah, he delivered. Nityananda Prabhu delivered in the one of the verses that it says. The Jagai and Madhai, we know Jagai and Madhai, right? They were the first kinds of people. They were Brahmanas originally. You don't know the story, Jagai and Madhai? Okay, well, so it's a very famous story from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And so Jagai and Madhai were originally from a Brahminical background, but they took to all kinds of nonsensical activities, killing people, stealing people, murder, rape, everything that you can think of. They were pure Naradhamas. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked his followers, etc., to go and distribute the love of Godhead. So they used to go door to door, and like we do. And so Nityananda Prabhu went and talked to Jagai and Madhai and tried to bring the concept of Krishna to them. And they were so angry with him that one of them had something in his hand, and he hit Nityananda with that, and it went and hit his forehead, and there was blood there. So then they all returned back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know about this, he got really very angry. And so we have to remember that if somebody hurts a devotee of the Lord, which Nityananda Prabhu is, the Lord does not tolerate that. Kaunteya prati janehi name bhaktiya pranashyati. So then he goes there, and he's ready to kill them. He's ready to kill them. The two brothers. He's Krishna. He can do anything, right? But then Nityananda Prabhu reminds him, and he says that, my Lord, in this birth we have come not to pick up a weapon to kill. You're not going to kill anybody, because here you have come to distribute the love of God. Why don't you distribute the love of God to these two brothers? And then the brothers have that magical transformation, and they go and fall at the feet, and they became devotees. And actually there is a lineage that comes from Jagai Madhai also. So if you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it will tell you there are many branches that come from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One is Nityananda's branch, this and that. So there's a Jagai Madhai branch also, which means that they become devotees, they become preachers, they become disciples, and then their disciples, they propagated Krishna consciousness like that. So, Naradhama. Then Maya Aparadagrahana. Maya Aparhana karna, right? Aparhana means to seize. So you have got knowledge, but somebody has seized that knowledge from you, taken away your knowledge, the true knowledge. So those are the scientists that you say that are the faithless scientists that you have. So they will read the Bhagavad Gita. I mean, I know of a person. It was a man and then some lady from here, and I think some country in Europe. The lady was from Europe, I think. But it doesn't matter. But the main thing is that they wrote a book, and they invited me for the when you write a book, then you are evangelizing about the book, so you go to various places. So he called me to Barnes and Noble here, and he said, "Why don't you come?" And I had met him at some major some other function there. So we went. My husband and I went there to listen, and so they had, and it was super complicated. It was so super complicated that I was thinking, thank God for Prabhupada, he has written things, made things very simply. I mean, they had this and that, they had diagrams and Venn diagrams and circles and arrows and flows, and it was super, super complicated. And so after then talking about all that, they said that we have come to the conclusion, this lady and I have come to this conclusion that we are God. And luckily, one person in the audience said that, so all these things that you're seeing, have you realized any of these things? They said, no. So how can you then say that? How can you then say that if you have realized? Have you done something fantastic that God does? How can you say that you're God? So was he intelligent? Super intelligent to come up with these complicated diagrams. But Maya.
But those would be like concepts that they heard from others, right? If it's not realized, it must have been heard from somewhere else, and then they thought about it and then put it out.
Association of experience.
It was along the lines of last week also we were talking about it. Those people who think that they are God themselves.
Yeah.
Maya. Yeah. So then maybe something like that, right? We are God.
Yeah. Imagine these people. And then the last part of this is called Asura and Bhava Ashita, or those of demonic principles. This class is openly atheistic. Openly, because some of them argue that Supreme Lord can never descend upon this material world, but they are unable to give any tangible reasons as to why not. Prabhupada's questions are so amazing that, why not? Simple question. There are others who make him subordinate to the impersonal feature. So sometimes Krishna is all a light, and then sometimes the light takes the shape and then comes down like that. The others who make him subordinate to impersonal feature, although the opposite is declared in the Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is saying, where does it say? It says that in the 14th chapter. Brahmano hi pratishtaham, right? I am the source of the Brahman. Brahma Jyoti says that. Envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the atheist will present a number of illicit incarnations manufactured in the factory of his brain. So such persons whose very principle of life is to decree the personality of Godhead cannot surrender unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So their job is just to criticize, and blaspheme. And then we have this Ramanacharya's quote about who he's going to be known to, knowable to persons involved. And that is why in the Bhagavatam you have got so many stories. And you remember last time also I had quoted a verse from Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 1st canto, 5th chapter, the last verse, where this Narad Muni is giving instructions to Vyasadeva about how he should write the Bhagavatam. Yeah. And he says that you should write a Bhagavatam that will be useful for both the good and the bad people. Right? Good and the bad. So these are the bad. Right? So how is Bhagavatam good or useful for these bad people?
Maybe they come to know that they belong to this category.
They come to know they belong to this category. Self-check and self-classification. Yeah.
If they have desire to learn, they can learn from others' example what happened to them.
To them, exactly. What happened to them, exactly. So you think like, you can manufacture your own things, you want to defy the laws of God and, okay, see what happened to Rama. Like that, Or the Mudhas. Working very, very hard, There'll be so many stories there as well. We'll tell you about this.
And I think, Mataji, sometimes it's not very clear that people are good and bad. There are, in between, there are more, right? So,
and you'll also see that the demoniac nature actually comes across as the day progresses. So in the morning we are in the sattvic mode.
Yes, very true.
Enter the office, the demon comes out.
No, then what comes out? And by the time we are tired, then demon comes out.
I remember back at work when I was working, I had gone to, I was interviewing from some other department in the same company. And so my would-be manager had called me and she said, well, come at 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock precisely I went there to her office, didn't find her there. I actually didn't find anybody on the floor. I was like, what happened? Was there a fire alarm or something? And everybody just left. So anyway, I just said, I'll wait. And so I was just waiting. And 10 o'clock somebody came into the office. And so this was also a lady. And this lady sat down, she opened her computer. And obviously the first thing that we used to do at those days was read the email. Because you come in the office and read your email because, we didn't have cell phones, etc., on which you could be, reading it on the way to the office and things like that. So you come in the office and you read. And then so she was reading, I don't know, my back was to her, or I could see from my peripheral vision. So she was reading, she read something, and then the expletives started coming out from her mouth, because somebody must have written something over So he doesn't take till the end of the day for the demon to come out. The demon will come out. Anytime it just needs a little trigger coming from somewhere outside. Yeah. So what are the 4 classes of miscreants who do not surrender to Krishna?
Grossly foolish.
Yeah.
Lowest of mankind.
Lowest of mankind. And what's the Sanskrit word for that?
Narada.
And then
The difficult
Those
word.
whose knowledge
Maya.
is stolen by
Maya.
Maya Prapana Jnana.
And professed theist.
Atheist.
And what is that one?
Asura.
Asura.
Oh, Ashrita.
Ashrita.
Yes, Ashrita. Yeah, Ashrayam. That foundation is Ashrayam. Right? Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarve guna tasya samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sita bhavato bahi. So what it's saying is that those who are devotees of the Lord, yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarve guna, all the nice qualities of the demigods, they will automatically come to them. Sarve guna yasya samasate suras samas, good quality. Haram abhaktasya kuto mahatguna. It's saying, for one who is not a devotee of the Lord has got no good quality. Such a strong statement. Haram abhaktasya kuto mahatguna. Where is the good quality? All that he does is manorathena, he sits on the chariot of his mind and is constantly running after the outside, the material objects. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. So, we are glad that Prabhupada is steering us all so that we become the devotees of the Lord. With that, I will stop here. Any reflections or comments or anything like that? We are a little over time today. But we say
I'm just talking to myself.
So when you say
halfway.
no good qualities, like if a person may have some good qualities, like for example, devotees will all when you go on book to student, they'll find a good quality in any even atheist person. They'll try. I mean, not that it's that good to be,
Yeah.
but
What
can you
they're
just explain?
Yes, so there's a mix there, There's a mix. He's not a pure atheist. He's not a purely abhakta. There's a little bit of goodness there. Yeah. Like she was saying, that during a day itself there's a mix. Yeah. And actually, it's a very interesting point that she brought in, is that there is the the good people, and then we have the Mahatmas. And Mahatmanas to Mahampartha. Devi Prakriti Ashrita. So you will see that there are grades of people who will, there are Duratmas also. Let's start with the Duratmas because we have good and the bad here also. Right?
So Mataji, in Duratma also, the Krishna Bhav is dormant.
Dormant,
So it's
absolutely. Yes, that's the good news.
Yeah.
And that's why fan the spark. That's why we want to go back and bring out that dormant thing. That is what devotees, and that is why you're so overwhelmed, right? Like I remember my sister Vidyavadhu once, what she did was when she was tiny, like 2nd grade or 3rd grade like that, and so she had a ponytail, and she took her pencil and she put the pencil there, and stuck it in the ponytail like this, and then she took the eraser and she stuck it here, like kids do that. And then when the time came, next period, the teacher said that, write, take out notebooks and write, and she's looking in her bag, she can't So she was like so scared, she started crying, and then she went to the teacher and she told the teacher, I can't find my pencil. And the teacher took out the pencil from me. And it's almost like, it's like Bhakti, you don't know you have it in you. Yeah. So, which is such a good. I mean, there are so many things that are such that bring so much of peace to you. One is that you are Atma and you live forever. That's the best thing, because then there's hope, there's continuity. That okay, fine, I'll just leave this body and I'll go. Yeah. But then life continues, and there's something still going to happen. It's not like a dead and it's finished and you're done, like that. And the second is to know that that devotional service is dormant in you. It's already there. And once you see that it's dormant in everybody, then your view, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gaviyasini, he sees everybody as a soul and he will not distinguish. And that is why when a person, those kind of people, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane, they are at a very high level. They are Uttamadhikaris. In contrast to the Kanishtas who are young, who are the juniors, and then of course they are the Madhyamadhikaris. So the Uttamadhikaris are that level that they see the soul in everybody, so they see everybody as good. So they can never preach. Because when you're preaching, you're making a distinction, right? This person doesn't know. I have to tell him something. They'll say, what is the need to preach? Okay, he's a murderer, so what? It's just the body. The soul inside. There's a super soul inside. There's a soul inside. He's not doing anything. So Uttamadhikaris have to come down to the level of a Adhikari, start making the distinction between, good and bad, high and low. And then they're able to preach. Otherwise they won't preach. They're Uttamadhikari. What is the need to preach? Ultimately, right? So
then they go into just themselves attaching towards Krishna for their own self. And maybe...
Yes. And they can become bhajananandis also. They can sit and come up with philosophies. And even in our lineage, we find people who have been bhajananandis in contrast to goshti anandi. Goshti is meeting. Like we are all goshti anandis, right? If I tell you also like, okay, next week no meeting, and you go and read the chapter to yourself, you'll be like, oh no, I wish not to sit. There's good one Khyati Mati. There's good one like that. Oh, Banmali Prabhu, we were missing him. Like that we say. Yeah. Because we are all goshti anandis. We like to discuss things. So it's a nature. It's a nature like that. And we need both. We need both because when you are just going preaching and things like that, so then somebody has done the homework for you. You read and done that, right? But somebody needs to really sit down in isolation, in solitary mood, and really come up with a philosophy and write it down and things like that. Vyasdev up in the Himalayas, all alone, writing all that. So you need those kind of people. So we need both kinds there. But I don't know why I went there. I don't know what I was. I'm no longer on track of what I was talking about.
I think we started with this.
Oh, dormant. Yeah, it's the Bhakti is dormant in you. Yeah, the Bhakti is dormant.
It's a completely bad person. It's not that.
Yeah. So I was telling you that the worst people are those. You don't even have a bad quality, but I will say something bad about you. So they are like the lower in the bad, right? A little above them are those that, they won't cook up bad things about you. But if you have a bad thing, they'll make sure everybody knows about it. Like that. Then above them are, the good souls. They know you have good thing. And they will see that good thing. And they will tell everybody about the good thing, right? Or behave with you like that. Even higher than them are the Mahatmas, that even if you don't have a good quality, they see your good qualities. Why? Because they're able to see the future. So, and then they will praise you. So they see the potential in people. So when we are going out to book distribution, we see the potential. We see that this is already an Atma, this is already has got devotion to Krishna. All that I have to do is to revive it. So never, try to put them down or, be courteous to them, be merciful to them and give them mercy. Even if they say, I don't want to read the book, I don't believe in God and things like that. Okay, don't take that as an offense as a preacher. Go and give them prasadams. Okay, so how about some cookies? How about this? How about that? Because all that you want to do is to help them revive. It's like, when you know that somebody has got something, and is thinking he doesn't have it, like with Yavadu. Had the pencil. I didn't know she had it. All that the teacher had to do was to take it out and give it to her, like, and say, all right, fine, use it. So that's what the teachers do.
Meditation reminder.
I was thinking Bhagavatam said soul.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we have a rule. You know the rule, right?
Yeah.
Well, if the cell phone goes off during the class, then the person whose cell phone goes off has to purchase the Bhagavatam set. We started with Ishu Parisha. $3. Now we are gone up. Okay, so it's 9 o'clock in the night, but we have Vanmali Prabhu here. I will hate to, have him here and not have a little kirtan, maybe 10 minutes of
With
kirtan.
new instrument that
Yeah,
you
you brought. Yeah, I have not seen it yet. Would you?
It's always nice to bring another drum.
You have unique, different types of.
Yeah.
So we would like to have kirtan for a little while.
Yeah, a little while. Yeah. So let's, and then after that we'll do prasadam prayers.
So how long till it's a
10
quarter after?
Oh, this watch. Okay, fine.
Or, okay, it's
10
9
minutes.
o'clock right now.
Yeah, 9.
Yeah.
So you want to go to
15 minutes.
15 minutes?
15 minutes? And then prasadam prayers and then we do prasadam. Okay. Wow.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vrksa Swami Iti Namari Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namani Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namani Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namani Bhajan Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Bhajan Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Bhakta-vrinda Bhajan Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari
Alright, Prasadam prayers, we'll all do it together. Sharila Vidyaja, Jyotirpriyata Hikar, Jive Feshasasari, Tamati Chivayati, Lovamoy Sudurmati, Taki Chita Katina Sansari, Krishna Manadayamoy Gori Bari Chimajar, Swaprasara Nadi Lovai, Seyanamita Pao, Radha Krishna Gurudao, Premida Koshi Chaitanya Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Guru Mahaprasad ki Jai. So I'd like to thank once again Suyash Prabhu and his lovely wife Manasi Mataji for opening the home. I'd also like to thank all our audiences who are online watching us. Hare Krishna, and with this we will bring our session today to an end.